You know, it's kind of like there are two different people living in your head, right? There's the you, who's logical, who plans your day, gets things done. And then there's this other you, the one who takes over at night and directs the most bizarre, surreal movies you've ever seen. Well, today, we're going to get to the bottom of why that is.
I mean, really, think about it. How is it possible? One moment, you're sitting there methodically organizing a spreadsheet, everything makes perfect sense. The next, you're fast asleep, dreaming that you're flying on a giant slice of pizza with your third-grade teacher. It feels completely random, but the answer is actually hidden in the way your brain builds reality itself. So to really get this, let's imagine your brain has this dedicated creative team. Anytime you picture something in your mind, whether it's a simple apple or a whole dream sequence, it's all the work of these key players working together behind the scenes. Okay, so when you're awake and you decide to imagine something, your brain uses a process called top-down processing. Now that just means your conscious goals, the big picture ideas, are the boss. They send orders down the chain of command to create the image you want. So let's meet the team that gets those orders.
All right, first up, we've got the prefrontal cortex, or PFC for short. This is the part of your brain right behind your forehead. And for our purposes, it's the team leader. Let's call it the author.
So the author? That's your brain's big boss, the executive control center. It's the one that decides the what. It says, okay team, let's imagine a red apple sitting on a wooden table. It sets the goal and kicks off the entire project. Next, the author sends that script over to another crucial region, the parietal cortex. This member of our creative team is the illustrator. Think of the illustrator as the art director. It handles all the spatial details. Where's the apple on the table? What's the perspective? Is the lighting coming from the left or the right? It manages the whole visual layout, making sure every detail's right where it's supposed to be. Okay, but wait a second. Where do the author and the illustrator get all their raw material? Well, they get it from here, the hippocampus, tucked away deep inside your brain. This is the team's massive, sprawling library. See, every single time you imagine something, you're not actually creating it from nothing. The library is pulling up all the files, memories of what apples look like, the texture of wood, the way light reflects off a surface, and it provides all that source material to the team.
Okay, so we've met the whole creative team. Now, let's watch them in action during a normal waking thought, when their very logical manager is on duty, keeping everyone in line. So, a conscious thought can get started in one of two ways, right? It could be something external, like your alarm clock going off, which demands you think about turning it off. Or it could be an internal goal, like when you just decide, okay, it's time to plan my day.
But here's the key. It doesn't matter what the trigger is. The process is the same. The PFC, our author, steps in as the chief executive. It takes charge, directs the illustrator and the library, and makes sure the final product is a logical, coherent thought that helps you get something done.
But what happens to this perfectly organized team when the manager clocks out for the night? Because when we fall asleep, the whole system gets turned on its head.
Making a dream is a totally different ballgame. It's not top-down, it's what we call bottom-up. It all starts way down in the brainstem, the engine, which just starts firing off random electrical signals upwards. Then the dopamine system, the driver, kicks in, firing up our emotional centers. And finally, the limbic system, which includes our library, just starts grabbing random, emotionally charged memories and mashing them together. Notice someone's missing?
And this is the absolute game changer. It turns out that during REM sleep, which is when our most vivid dreams happen, a key part of our author, the part responsible for logic, reasoning, and checking in with reality, is basically, well, it's offline. It's asleep at the wheel.
So let's put this all together. When we look at your two minds, your waking mind and your dreaming mind, side by side, the difference is just staggering, and it explains everything.
This is the whole story in a nutshell. When you're awake, your prefrontal cortex is buzzing with activity, directing traffic, making sure everything makes sense. But during a REM dream, its activity is massively suppressed. The boss has left the building.
And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Waking thoughts are top-down, driven by your goals, with a very active PFC keeping things logical. But dreams? They're bottom-up, sparked by the brainstem, with a suppressed PFC. And the result? Bizarre, emotional, and totally illogical stories.
So there you have it. The reason your dreams are so incredibly strange is because the logical author in your brain is completely offline, and this lets the emotional illustrator and the memory library run wild. They're free to just stitch together any random ideas and feelings they want, with absolutely no supervision, no logic, and zero reality checks.
So that's the science behind the tale of your two minds. And it leaves us with this one pretty wild question to think about. If your sense of a logical self, your feeling of you, is managed by this executive part of your brain, then who exactly are you during those hours each night when it's completely switched off? Something to dream on. Thanks for checking out this explainer.